The first Americans' Declaration of Reclamation of our Identity and Natural Rights. This declaration, dated July 4th, 2019, is in response to the intrusion, genocide, gentrification, indoctrination, and reclassification of the over 100 million strong original peoples of North, Central, South America, and adjoining islands over a period of 4 or more centuries. This declaration do not include the so-called Native Americans or Africans, only the American Aborigines and their descendants, the Anti-Defamation Against the Autochthonous and Aborigine Americans and Natural Rights Act. Due to the colonization of land and seas of the area commonly known as the Western Hemisphere to include but not limited to North, Central, and South America and the surrounding islands. The original peoples of these lands have been systematically gentrified and misclassified as descendants of black racial groups associated with Africa, i.e., mulatto, Negro, colored, black, and African American. We, the original and autochthonous people of the commonly known area of the Western Hemisphere, aka the Americas, retain all of our rights. There have been countless wars, crimes, and other atrocities committed against our people that need to be redressed and corrected by the U.S. governing body, including but not limited to identity correction, land appropriation that is held in trust, travel rights, and the return of artifacts, and the right to self-govern. Article 1. All so-called black people in the Americas are not descendants of Africa, and this misclassification of our identity, i.e., colored, Negro, black, and African American, is the result of social programming and indoctrination, and is not and will not be accepted by the autochthonous people in any manner, whether it be personally, socially, politically, or legally so-called, and the attempt to continue such reckless behavior will be seen as a conspiracy to commit fraud, a hate crime, and defamation against the original peoples of the Western Hemisphere under international law and the American Constitution. The U.S. corporation, its nation states, affiliates, and sponsors have been committing many sorts of crimes against the original or Aborigine people of this land without as much as a one warning for the genocide, rape, lynching, displacement, and scientific experiments. There are many documented cases. The list of nefarious and criminal activity is almost too long to imagine, and there must be an accounting and remedy for. By our estimates, the greatest majority of white African and European descendants in the U.S. believes that the original or Aborigine people misclassified as black were all brought here on slave ships by their ancestors, not realizing that we were here long before their ancestors existed. And the only reason that they believe the lie is because of the great effort to cover up factual history. Article 2. There are millions of acres of land held in trust by the governing bodies of the American government that are the birthright of the original or Aborigine people of the land, and we demand such land be returned in good faith and without obstruction, harassment, or oversight. Since the original or Aborigine people have been systematically removed and gentrified from our lands by fraudulent practices and intimidation, we feel that it would be in the best interest of all involved to give back our land and allow us to live in peace. Article 3. We, as the original or Aborigine peoples of the commonly known as Western Hemisphere, including but not limited to Americas and the surrounding islands, being of sound mind, body, and spirit, reserve all rights to self-govern to the best of our ability without the need for regulation, obstruction, oversight, or harassment from the governing bodies. We will operate as a responsible, autonomous nation. All treaties, trade agreements, tariffs, etc. thereof on our land must be approved by us alone. Article 4. As the original and Aborigine people of what is commonly known as the Western Hemisphere, reserve all rights to travel anywhere and any time of our choosing within the Western Hemisphere without obstruction, harassment, corporate identification, or citizenship of any state-sponsored territories. The First Americans' Declaration of Reclamation of our Identity and Natural Rights.
Peace. How everybody doing today? I'm only gonna be here for a little bit. I figure I do something that is a little more that might help out the people. But give a shout out for Libra Sun, the First American Council. Y'all can check that out in the description box. Y'all can check that out in the description box. Peace to everybody. I just kind of want to get in and get out. So I'm trying not to pay too much attention to the chat. But we got Gretchen Hams, Mr. Dark Brother, Sword of Truth in the building, Joe 47, Cherokee, Original Think Tank, that's dope. Carly the Legend in the building. You know what I'm saying? Who else we got? Who we got first in the building? First in the building, we got Nova the Star in the building. Aboriginal Power, Libra Sun. Be busy. Mizak in the building. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. Y'all sure? What's up, man? How y'all doing? So we gonna go ahead and go in. I want to go in real quick on critical thinking. And so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna break down our article and I'm gonna show you I'm gonna show uh, the people how to abstract the math out, and I'm gonna show them how to use critical thinking while breaking down a scientific article. Because no one person or no one man in this world is above critique. So everybody needs to be critiqued, no matter what you believe in, or no matter your achievements or your level of education. You're still not above critique. And so it seems like it seems like some of us don't know how to critique anything anymore with using critical thinking. Nowadays in the information age, it seems like just Google it, and whatever Google says, then that's it. You see what I'm saying? With no critical thinking involving. And so it's almost as if the smartphones is taking away our critical thinking. We can't think anymore. We can't question anymore. We just go by the article, and it's just and that's how it goes. But that's not how critical thinking works. Critical thinking, it basically means that your brain is hungry, and if some of the things that you read doesn't satisfy your hunger, then you don't really align yourself with some information that is minuscule. Now, to me, to me, my mind is all over the place. So I will say my mind is huge because it's all over the place. And an article cannot quench my thirst for knowledge. Okay, it can't do it for me because an article, it's not enough information to feed my brain. I need more questions answered. I need to know more. The more you teach me and the more I know, the more I can begin to align myself with you, and then I could begin to believe you. But without certain critical things answered, that that quenches my personal uh, thought pattern, then I cannot align myself with you. But in this day and age, critiquing or critical thinking, it is now a a bad thing. Now it's not. It's like it's like some kind of way critical thinking is banned. It's barred. It doesn't. It makes you a conspiracy theorist. It makes you, you're weird for for critical thinking. And so I'm going to break this down. Welcome to the Cures in the Code. You know what I'm saying? Brought to you by me, Tad Data, Lakeisha Network. I am not a scientist, but I am an inventor. I probably, to be honest with you, I probably invented more things in the past month than some people ever did in the whole entire lifetime. Um, One of the latest things that I created, yes, I'm a creator, I'm an inventor. One of the last things I created, you could check me out on my channel, hashtag EX. You could just hashtag the Kodaks. That's where I do some of my critical thinking at. The last thing I created is I created zip codes for Jamaica because Jamaica does not have Jamaica does not have traditional zip codes. They have like, some alphabets. I'm not exactly sure what they have, but when I speak to our brothers and sisters down there in Jamaica, they say that they don't have proper zip codes. And so within our network, we're going to need proper zip codes for them. And I created some for them. And you can go check that information out. You can go on the website. You can download the Lakeisha app and go to about us and click on the Lakeisha YouTube page. It's also on the Lakeisha YouTube page. But if you want the document or if you want an article about me creating some zip codes or something for Jamaica, I don't have them. But yes, I am a self-renowned inventor and creator. I'm not a scientist, but I am a critical thinker. And the critical thinker is a scientist's worst nightmare because now he has to answer my questions now. So we're gonna get into that, and but so understand when I mean that. So I'm gonna show you some of my personal things. So each article that you read, it should have your own personal intake and outtake in it. So me and Libra and Joe 47 can read an article, but we all gonna have different critiques, and we're not gonna have the same thing on the article. But if you reading an article of a room full of people and all you guys got the same intake of that article, something's missing, and it's called critical thinking. Okay, so we're going to get into on that. We're going to get into some critical thinking, and I'm going to break down the story of Naya. I'm gonna break that down. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read from the NBC, the NBC, the NBC news is what pops up first thing in Google. Shout out to Black Lotus and his next city that he did. I believe he did yesterday. Last night he did uh Ohio. So he did Ohio. You know what I'm saying? So he gonna be doing Minnesota. He's gonna be doing all y'all states and the history and the mounds and stuff in all your states is gonna be very entertaining, very educational. You know what I'm saying? So you guys gotta hook him up because we all gotta do, you know what I'm saying? We all gotta do what we gotta do. And so shout out to him if you guys want to check that out. You know what I'm saying? I think it was the Serpent Mounds in um uh the Serpent Mounds in uh Ohio, I believe. So shout out to the people in Ohio. Definitely go check out some of your monuments and some of your ancient stuff in Ohio. If you don't, you know what I'm saying, if you don't subscribe to them, then don't worry about them. But let's get some critical thinking going. Now, when it comes to critical thinking, okay, it basically represent things that is not answered in a article, because an article is very minuscule of information. It's very tiny amount of information, and if a tiny amount of information could persuade you to believe something, then what that means is that your critical thinking is cut off. Okay, it's cut off because of a tiny article. An article in the information world. One article, it's not even a percentage. It's like beyond a percentage. You see what I'm saying? And so we have to brace ourselves when we looking at these articles, and we have to be able to critique them. For example, what happens when a scientist critiques another scientist? How do they hash that out? How they hash that out is that the scientist that has more money and the scientist that have more influence, he wins. Simple as that. So if you're a scientist for the evolution theory and there's a scientist that's not for the evolution theory, whichever scientist got more money is pretty much going to win. I mean, my opinion. But yeah. So we gonna get into that real quick. But when you looking at these articles, understand to me is the information in the articles are very limited. It's not a vast amount of information in a article. If you had to put how many gigabytes or how many megabytes or how many kilobytes is in one of these articles, it has to be like maybe 1 kilobyte. It's not even a megabyte or a gigabyte. It's a kilobyte. You see what I'm saying? Um, yeah, Google and these host websites only allows you a certain amount of gigabytes sometimes. Or you know what I'm saying? So these articles is not big enough for my brain to persuade me. So so that's what I want people to understand. Like could you imagine, for example, can you imagine, let's say let's just say getting off work and you hungry, because my mind is hungry for knowledge, and I'm pretty sure all of ours is too. Is hungry for knowledge. Could you imagine your wife coming home or you coming home and you know get in the shower, you hear your wife back there messing with plates and cups and water running, you thinking you know what I'm saying, finna make you something to eat. You got your hands clean or whatever, you come out and you see your wife have a plate and she have a Hershey Kisses on the plate. She had one Hershey Kiss on the plate. And you look at her like, and she like, there's dinner. And you looking like, the hell is that? Like, like she like, that's your dinner. That's what one of these articles is like to me. It's like a giant, because my brain is so hungry, and these articles, it doesn't quench my thirst. It's not enough information in any one of these articles. I don't care if the article supports you or not. It's not enough information. So that's why critical thinking is very important. If you don't use critical thinking and you can't critique a scientist, now scientists are regular people. Many of them gay, many of them perverts, many of them weirdos, many of them probably cool as hell. Some of them will probably beat you up. Some of them will probably dunk in your face. Who knows what these scientists is, but they're regular people. So they're not above critiquing. But so if you go around and you just wanna, what I'm saying, you just want a scientist just tell you some shit, and you just say okay, what I'm saying, you're not using critical thinking. You're now some type of weird ass cult figure who's glamorized by somebody's uh pretty much somebody credentials. So keep that in mind. Okay. Matter of fact, I want you to picture Shaquille O'Neal eating a Hershey Kiss for dinner. He's going to go to bed hungry, and he's going to wake up hungry. And that's what these articles do for people like us in this community. At least over here at Tribe Up, being in these articles, it doesn't quench our thirst. It doesn't fill our belly, and we want more information. Now, if you can answer, and if you can answer, and if you can give us more information, then we can come to what we call a independent personal conclusion. Because all of us do not believe in the same thing, and we can go again. We can now critique each other based on our intake of information. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go over to my supercomputer. Um, this is my supercomputer. The pretty much the most advanced computer in the whole entire world is right here, and I'm finna turn around and I'm finna get it. Okay. So here we go. Okay. Let me- okay, here we go. So are we good? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hold on. Okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. So I'm gonna put the article in the chat, and this is the article that I'm reading from. I'm also gonna put some other articles in the chat as well. Yeah, we're gonna put the one that debunk first. Let me get the one that debunks the Bering Strait. You could just look up artifacts found in Idaho. Just look that up, and then you will see them critiquing and no longer accepting the Bering Strait theory. So now that we know that, we're gonna go back and we're gonna visit the story of Naya now that the Bering Strait doesn't exist anymore. So just to be exact, let me go ahead. Let me make sure I get the article out there. Okay, let me make sure I get the article out there because I have some critical thinking on that article as well. But let me get the article first. Um, it's called Artifacts in Ohio. I mean Idaho. And so these artifacts that they found, they're now saying that this throws the Bering Strait out of the window. And now that we know the Bering Strait was thrown out of the window, even though we did that a long time ago because we was critiquing the Bering Strait and we was using critical thinking of the Bering Strait, and we don't believe in it. And that doesn't make you a cult member. That just means you're using your critical thought. You know what I'm saying? You're using your critical thinking and your thirst for knowledge. The information about the Bering Strait does not quench your thirst, and you want more information. Now that doesn't say the Bering Strait is wrong, and it doesn't say the Bering Strait is right. But you, as a personal individual, you came to your own conclusion and you said, I don't believe in that shit. And you just got a whole bunch of us together that I don't believe in that shit either. You see what I'm saying? And so here we are, using our critical thinking have brought us together. Critical thinking have brought us together. So let's give it up for critical thinking. I wouldn't know you if it wasn't for critical thinking. Now, so here we go. There's the article. Now that we understand that the Bering Strait have been debunked, we're gonna go back and we're gonna revisit this article, and I'm gonna show you how to abstract the math out of there, and also I'm gonna show you my personal critical thinking tactics. Now, this is something that I do, and this is not for everybody or anybody. Pretty much uh, this is pretty much how Ty Data used some of his critical thinking, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys do too. So let me go ahead and set up the supercomputer. This is a bad mama jamma, man. This computer is a bad mama jamma, boy. Y'all have no idea what I can do on this computer. But anyway, so here we go. Now we're gonna start with the article. It says, "Hello, Naya, 12,000-year-old girl DNA reveals first Americans' roots." Now they said the word reveals, okay, and they said DNA. DNA reveals first American roots. Now, right there, just right there on the title alone, I'm expecting a 100% fine because they claim that it reveals first American roots. So, pardon me because I am a critical thinker. So I want to know more. I am hungry as fuck. I am hungry for knowledge, and I want my thirst or my hunger to be fed. So feed me, article. Okay. So this seemed like a 100% fine to me because I'm looking out for the math. Now, basically, it says In the deep of an underwater cave in Mexico, the bones of an unlucky girl named Naya preserve clues to the origins of the first Americans from 12,000 dark years. Now, her bones and other clues has finally come to light. Now, what I'm going to do is I usually get the math first. And so I'm going to show you how to abstract the math out. Now, um, a lot of words with s at the end, they usually some s usually put a mathematical format on the word. So I don't want to penny pinch and itchy winch every single word. So I'm going to use some selective word and some keywording. Now, I'm just going to take out the word bones. So it says bones. So there's that's a mathematical word, but it's an estimation. It's not telling me how many words. So as a critical thinking, I would expect them to know how many bones they found. Okay, how many did you find? Like tell me the truth. Don't send me on no bullshit no BS or no cartoon stuff. Okay, I'm a critical thinker. So I am thinking now. I wonder how many bones did they find? Okay, now I'm using my critical thinking. Okay, unlucky girl named Night preserve clues. Now clues, clues letting me know that they don't have 100%. They're trying to, they're working on it. We can look up the definition of clues if you want to, and we can kind of go down that and check that out. So just for the people who need like more information, we're just gonna look up the definition of clues for them. So I want you to make sure you have the same understanding as me. Okay. Um, so the word clue. Okay. Everybody should know what that means. But let's go ahead and let's check it out. Something that guides through and indicates precision of maze or difficulties. Okay. Let me see. So here we go right here. Just pretty much I could put that in the chat room. Hold on one second. Oh, hold on one second. I'm gonna put that in the chat room, and I'm gonna try to slow down for a little bit. Okay? Put that in the chat room, and I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna slow it down for a little bit. So hold on one second. So now do we have a clue? I have some people calling me. Hold on one second from Los Angeles. It's kind of weird that people is calling me like that. These weird ass numbers. Um. So okay. So are we ready now? Oh, let me see if you guys can't see it. Hold on one second. I'm gonna put it in the chat room for you. Give me one second. Now this is the definition of a clue. Okay, hold on. What's that? What's that? Come on. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the chat room for you. It's slowing me up. It says something that's guided through a intricate procedure or maze of difficulties. So so everybody got their own critique and their own intake on what that means. So basically basically it's a clue. Okay, it means a clue. It means it's something difficult. You got procedures and blah 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 blah. Okay, now so let's look at the math. Okay, so the first means the first, which is one. Then you got 12,000. Then you got 12,000 dark years. So you got 12,000. And then you have bones. So this letting me know that they claim her to be the first American. She go back 12,000 years and her bones. So they found more than one. Um, uh, give clues. So let's go. Let's go deep down. The shape of Naya's skull and the DNA of her bones have led researchers to the conclusion that there was only one major migration of to the Americas over an ancient land bridge that spread it what is now my bad, what is that spanned what is now the Bering Strait. Okay, now that we know the Bering Strait has been debunked now, so we know that this is not true. So basically, okay, let's take the numbers out. Okay, let's take the numbers out. Um, First numbers you got bones. So her DNA bones, and then you have the word one. So they was basically saying they researchers before Naya. Remember, there was a theory before Naya. Naya made them change their theory around. Because remember, they were saying that no man came around Bering Strait, and then when they found Naya, they have to go and change the story. Now, as a critical thinker, I am thinking like, okay, well, if the Bering Strait theory was true, then why are we changing it then? You see what I'm saying? Because it's called a theory. Now, by me understanding that it's a theory, that means that it's letting me know that it's not 100% true. It is a conclusion that some scientists came up with. But because these scientists have high credentials, we just supposed to believe them with no critiquing. And this is a problem for some of us critical thinkers. Now it says now the word and is also a number. It used number one. And can be the number one. So when I see that, that equals number one to me. So one entrant land bridge, you know what I'm saying, that spans, you know what I'm saying. So so that's the number one right there. So we're looking for numbers in the first segment. So that's what I do first. I look for the numbers because a lot of these words equal numbers and different types of estimations and things like that, depending on how you use them and what characteristics and what alphabet you add at the end of them. So one migration. So that's what they believed prior to Naya. Now that Naya came about, it basically said led researchers to believe to a conclusion. A conclusion could be the same thing as a belief. So when people try to talk about people in the Bible and blah 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 blah, they're really doing the same thing. You see what I'm saying? They're really doing the same thing in a way because they have a reason why they believe what they believe, and what they believe is called a conclusion. And that's why when you're dealing with Aboriginal people, you have to tell them, where did you come up with that conclusion from? How did you get that? Where you getting that from? You see what I'm saying? You can't just ask them for a source, because a source is a very very minuscule information. So if a source can make and break your argument, then your argument is not that strong because you need more data behind it. A source, a magazine, a scientific magazine is not enough. I'm sorry. My brain is on overload. You see what I'm saying? I can't be convinced with no magazine or no article. But if you can, good for you and good for your people. That's good for y'all. But for the free thinking people over here, I need more, bro. I'm sorry. I need more information. So now my hungry brain. Now let me see. I can also break this down in the marketing type of way, but I'm gonna try to stay away from the marketing stuff. But I will be going in and out some of the marketing stuff. Um, we will be getting into some of that as well. You know what I'm saying? Hold on one second. Yeah, we will be getting some of that marketing stuff. Um, but and so now, just for the record, let's just look up conclusion. Let's look up conclusion, because a lot of people might not they might think conclusion is a very tricky word. And they might not, you know what I'm saying? They might not be able to understand what I'm saying, and they think I'm playing around with words and things like that. Do we should we look up the word conclusion, or is we good? You know what I'm saying? Is we good on conclusion? What should we do? We good? Okay. So let's go on to the next one. It says University of New Mexico geochemist Urman Esmaroon, who helped determine how long ago Naya lived, compared her story to that of Lucy, the 3.2 million-year-old human ancestor whose bones were found in Ethiopia 40 years ago. Okay, so now let's get the math out. The story now. Okay, so now uh, we have 3.2 million year old ancestor. So when you look at the word ancestor, now my critical thinking is telling me, how do you know it's an ancestor? What evidence can you prove to me that she is connected to Lucia? Do she have, I mean, Lucy? Do she have Lucy DNA? What does she, how are you calling her an ancestor? I want to know. It's just critical thinking. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I need more information. Your article does not feed my giant brain. Okay? So they're claiming that Lucy, the 32-year-old human ancestor, okay, basically mean she's an ancestor. How are you coming up with that information? That's the monkey theory. The monkey lady, she had a baby and all that shit. I get that, but you're gonna have to be more sophisticated when you come with Tide Data. I want to know the tools you use. I want to know the software you use. You know what I'm saying? I want to know where the funding came from. You see what I'm saying? When you dealing with I want to know more information. If I don't know more information, I can't come to a 100% conclusion with a minuscule amount of information. A article is very small amount of information. Everybody knows this. So an article cannot make and break a argument. You need more than a article. An article can support you or it can back you up, but it cannot make and break a whole claim in some things. Maybe if you dealing with some tip of information and all you need is one article just to prove your point, then obviously your point is not big enough because you're going to need more than one article uh, to support you when you over here presenting your information over here. Shout out to Black Lotus. Black Lotus got all type of stuff. He got all type of stuff he got going on. So let's check out the numbers. So pretty much the bones got the S at the end, so that's more than one 40 years ago. Um, and so basically they tie in Naya to her. I don't know how they doing that. If they doing that in genetics, or if they just selling you a story of saying like you got to sell a story a little bit. So you're putting the reader into the you're putting your reader into the into the aspect that Naya is attached to Lucia somehow. But I want to know, how are you doing that as a critical thinker? If you can't show me that, then um then we got a problem. And yes, I heard some of the stories, but I haven't seen none of the software. I haven't seen none of the tools. I also heard some of the scientists that they use, but still no tools, no software. What what I'm saying? The computing. What is the computer doing? I want to know things like that. It's that's the way my brain works. So it said, just like the story of Lucy, from where the original where I originate myself in our roles right now on Mars. The fuck? Naya stories touch. I believe in our hunger of deep space connection, a deep human connection in space and time. Um, uh, Amaru told reporters during the teleconference. So basically, now they're telling what he's saying, and what this article it seems like is doing. It seems like it's giving you a little hint of humanity. When you use the word space in America, there's a little phrase that Americans attach space to. It's called like one giant leap for man is one giant leap for mankind or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to bring out those type of feelings for you, like this is groundbreaking and this is a giant step for man or mankind. You as a reader or you as a non-critical thinking person, you probably hear that story and you probably feel some type of way like that. But I don't know. Um Let's just get to it. Amaru and more than a dozen other researchers tell Naya's story in this week's issues of journal Science. So basically, they letting you know where you can go get the real deal from, where you can go get more information from. You see what I'm saying? You can go get more information from there. Um, and so that's that's no problem. But hold on 1 second. Mike, hold on 1 second. So So keep in mind that many of these articles are it's not enough information. It's not a lot of information. It's a little bit. It's just a little bit of information, and so some of us need more. So it says Naya's significance stem from the fact that a teen girl bones were so well preserved in a cold, dark water of a vast 100-foot deep, slash 30 meters deep uh grotto on Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, as known as Hokia Negro. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna abstract the math. Let's check out the math. So you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna get 100 feet deep. Okay, the 100 feet deep in Mexico's peninsula. So it ain't really too much math in here, but as you can see, they have the word 100 foot and they have 30 meters deep. Okay, and so now as a critical thinker, I want to know what were you guys doing there? Why were you there? You know what I'm saying? Why were you there? You see what I'm saying? So as a critical thinking, I'm asking these questions, and as I ask these questions, if my questions don't get answered, I'm criticizing and I'm critiquing. There's nothing wrong with that. If you read this article and you go 100% verbatim, you are a clone of a clone of a clone of a clone, and you're not using critical thinking. So now I'm telling myself, yeah, I get that. What the hell these people was doing over there? What was they doing over there? It didn't say. The article didn't tell me. So then that means I'm gonna have to get more in depth into the story. You know what I'm saying? And check out another story and check out another story. And by the way, as I'm checking out all these articles, as you can see, there's accents. There's what we call accents on the pages. You see the accents on the pages. So now, let me see. Yep. We definitely got different types of accents. We got what's this? A progressive commercial on there and shit. You know what I'm saying? So now, as I need more information, I'm gonna have to click on more and more articles, racking up more and more assets and giving them more and more money. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but if you're hungry for the information, you're gonna have to do them extra clicks and you're gonna have to do that extra stuff, and they're just gonna get paid for all your shit. So I don't expect one article to give me enough to convince me. I need more information. And if these little ass articles with the assets at the bottom, and you know what I'm saying, but sometimes you do be having real articles, places where you pay like, $20, $15, $7 subscriptions and shit, and they give you little articles. It's always a little bit of money being made behind a lot of these stories. And those of you who are critical thinkers, we guys are the most expensive people to these people because I want to know more. So now I have to come a damn Yucatan Peninsula scientist expert to in order to get the answer that I'm looking for. And I know I'm not going to be a Yucatan bonologist, geologist. I'm not going to be that. So I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that I'm going off the information that they gave me and I'm critiquing it and it's not enough for me. And so if it's not enough for me, then what I tend to do, I tend to make up my own stuff, or I tend to look at other articles and other articles that doesn't support it, and it can get all messy. But each individual person comes along, you know, when you're dealing with that. Now, now here we go. It says, let me make sure we're in the right place. So now let's break it down a little more. Where are we? Okay, I went up a little bit too much. Okay, okay, it says reporter. Okay, so yeah. So now that we got that out the way and we understand critical thinking, do not run from critical thinking. Critical thinking is very important. You need to be able to critique and criticize everything that you read, including this show. I come out here, my hair nappy, blah 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 blah. Nobody and no scientist is above critique. If you can't critique your own article and you can't critique your own information, then there's something flawed in your software. I'm gonna be straight up. It's something flawed in you that you can't tell me that you don't have any critiquing for this information is enough information to convince you. Now this is yeah. So where are we now? Where are we? Let me see. Um. So we at the black hole. Let me see. Where are we? Give me 1 second, you guys. Let me see where we at. Okay. Okay. Yep. So the 100-foot hole. Let me see. Okay. Okay. I got it. Um. Yeah. So now we're gonna go right here. For decades, archaeologists have flushed out the idea that modern day Native Americans are the descendants of ancient people who made their way from Siberia to the Americas over Bering. Bering. The now let me see the now submerged land bridge. So basically, they're saying, okay, let me keep it. But scientists have also puzzled. Hold on 1 second. I gotta repeat for a second. Hold have puzzled over curious skeleton remains that looks as if they came from Africa or the South Pacific rather than Siberia of the Americas. Hold on, you guys, 1 second. I might have to read that again because I got to come back. Hold on. Sorry about that. Here we go. Here we go. For decades, archaeologists have flushed out the idea that modern day Native Americans are descendants of ancient peoples who made their way from Siberia to the Americas over Bering. Um, yeah, that that now submerged land bridge. But scientists have also puzzled over curious skeletons remains that looks as if they uh, came from Africa or the South Pacific, rather than Siberia or the Americas. Okay? First thing we're going to do is we're going to abstract the math. Let's check the math out. Okay, so when it says decades, decades with the S, you already know that they're talking more than 20 years. So for more than 20 years, that's what a decade is. 10 years. Decades is a estimate over 10. So I mean over 10. So it could be 11. It could be 11. Um, so decades. How many decades? We don't know. So a decade is 10 years. So if one decade is 10 years, two decades is 20 years. So it's at least 20 years. Okay? That's the math in that part. Okay? That one word says all that. Okay, it's this how you break down the math. Okay, archaeologists, which means that there's more than one, have flushed out the idea that modern Native Americans are the descendants of ancient peoples. Now, ancient peoples. Now, peoples. I'm a little stumped on that one. That sound kind of weird to me. I don't know if they're talking about like a bunch of different people or people. So we go peoples mean more than one people, more than one person. They got me saying that shit. More than one person. So I'm a little confused by that. I'm a little confused. I need more information. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Explain that to me. Somebody explain that to me. What ancient peoples who migrated? I mean, uh, who made their way from Siberia. So are they telling you that there's more than one different types of people in that sentence? What are they saying there? Because according to me and according to the theory, there was only one type of people. So with the S at the end, I'm a little confused. It throws me off a little bit, and it makes me add more. It makes me want to have more questions. And this article does not feed my thirst. It does not have enough. So I'm going to have to read more. I'm going to have to literally become a like some type of specialist in this to get a proper answer. And no, I am not a specialist in this, so I can't go with this because I don't know enough. I need more. So peoples, so that's a word, so that means more than one. And it's an estimation. So an estimation. But anyway, the Americas, what I'm saying, meaning, we're big, you know what I'm saying? The land bridge science, but scientists, so it's more than one different scientists. They came, so that's pretty much the math in that. So that's pretty much the math in that. It's basically, saying that. But now I'm keywording the word fleshed out. So the word fleshed out sticks out to me. So now I want to. So now because of my brain, I need knowledge. I need to know what they mean by fleshed out. You know what I'm saying? Archaeologists have fleshed out the idea. So they fleshed out the idea that modern day Native Americans was the descendants of these people. Um, are the descendants of the ancient peoples who made their way across the Siberia. So now because they found Naya, their first theory, it debunks their first theory. So Naya debunks their theory. This is what a lot of people are not understanding. Sometimes it's not what they say in the article, it's what they don't say in the article. That's just as important as what's in the article. But it seems like we can't think. What about what they didn't find? What about what they didn't say? What they didn't say is just as important as what they do say. Okay? I want to go in on that real quick because I want that to hit. I want that to hit home. Okay? Now, there is something called opposites. Okay? Opposites, we don't really know how they happen, and there's really no mathematical explanation of an opposite, but we do know there's an opposite. So if you can look up, you automatically can look down because down is the opposite. So things have opposites, and so this is one of the things that most people that don't know how to critical think, they don't know how to use this option. That was clever, huh? They don't know how to use this. And so when people tell you something, by default, they're creating an opposite. By default. Okay? So So if there's a out America, if you create a out of Africa theory, what you're doing is you also creating a opposite of that. You also, so what is the opposite of the out of American theory? I mean, out of Africa theory. What is the opposite of that? I'm pretty sure none. I'm pretty sure none of them know, and I'm pretty sure none of them ever even thought about it because they're not critical thinking. So what is the opposite of that? Because if you got one, you automatically got an opposite. And this is one of the techniques that I use in my arsenal to critique and to dissect some of the stuff that I'm reading, and some of the BS is the opposite. Now this shut down a lot of whole arguments because people could tell you what it is and this and this and this and this and this, but when you say, "Hey man, what's the opposite of that?" People don't really get it. Okay, well, by you telling me what is, you just created the opposite, sir. So your shit is not matching up. Cause I could just turn that shit around and just opposite you, and now my story, I could use your same evidence in the opposite theory. So if you present to me opposite, and you present to me with some evidence, and you give me a story, I can now take your evidence, and I can now put it in the opposite direction, and now your theory has been in the opposite way using your information and using um your finds. And this is what non-critical thinking people don't do. They don't really understand options. They don't really understand opposites. So let's go back to that. But I want to drill that. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things I use is I want to know the opposite of whatever you're saying. And if you can't tell me the opposite, then I could just make some shit up there. I could just make some shit. I could take your evidence and I could make whatever I want of it using your evidence in just a opposite matter. So now your story and my story is both have the same amount of possibilities now, because I just took your story and I just flipped it around. You see what I'm saying? Now that don't go for every single thing in the world, but the majority of stuff that these people talking about, all you gotta do is just turn it around. And I use the same evidence to turn it around. And now your evidence supports my theory because my theory is the opposite of your theory. So if you tell me my theory is wrong, then guess what that means? Your theory's wrong too. See, y'all don't know that because you're not critically thinking. So some of the stuff we say and you say is not true, by default, you're tearing up your own shit. By default, yours can't be true because mine have just as enough. Mine have I can use the same evidence as you, and I have just as enough of odds of coming true, just as much as you. In some cases, this don't work all cases all over the board, but definitely check out your options and check out your opposites when you're reading these minuscule ass articles, tiny ass articles like how can like you gonna need a lot, you gonna need an ocean of ars, you know what I'm saying, of articles to convince me. But here we go. So um basically their old theory, Naya pretty much made them change their theory. Their first theory is these people came across and they had this Clovis theory, and these people did this and these people that. And then now Naya came, and Naya looked like an African, and so now they're like, then you know what I'm saying, and now they're like, wait a minute. So now they got to go back to the drawing board. They got to go back to the drawing board. Now, by Naya making them change their theory, is now letting me know that they are making this shit up, and they are coming to different types of conclusions, which is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with them coming up to their own conclusions, but there's nothing wrong with me coming up with my own conclusions as well. And some of my conclusions is based off what the things that you didn't say. So we're going to get into this article, and we're going to get into some of the things that this article didn't tell us. And some of the things that this article didn't tell us, and some of them things that the article didn't say, it might persuade you either way. So here we go. So so now they're telling us that Naya had debunked them. So but now they need a new story. So now it says um one of the best example is Candlewick Man, a 9,300-year-old skeleton found in 1996 on the bank of the Columbia River in Washington State. Such find led scientists to wonder where these different looking immigrants, what the hell, immigrants referred to as Paleo Americans, made their way to the Americas via a different route. Okay, now let's look at the math. Let's look at the math first. So first thing we do is we look at 9,000, 3,000 years ago. So now we're there. Our mind is there. 9,000, 3,000 years ago. Okay. In 1996. They found this in 1996. To me, 1996, I was about 16, 17. A building got blew up in Oklahoma. Blah, 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 blah. You know, this and that. You know what I'm saying? Spice One little CD came out. I remember Spice One came out with his little CD and shit like that. So I have a little attachment to 1996. But anyway, um, so now it says fines, such fines with the, remember an S puts a number on some things, so that means they have multiple fines. And it also says scientists. They're not telling us who these scientists is because I am critical thinking. But as a non-critical thinking person, you just got programmed. This article is powerful enough to program our people. So Google and these articles are doing some hardcore programs because our people are not using critical thinking, and they're not able to say, "Hold up, wait a minute. What about the evidence that you didn't talk about? It has to be more. It has to be more." Yes, there is more. There's a vast amount, and you are getting a minuscule amount reading these articles. You're going to have to read thousands and billions of articles to come to a complete conclusion. At least me. But anyway, so it looks different when they use the word immigrants. That's a little weird to me because like it's like the person who's writing the story is trying to put this immigrant image in your head that they wasn't here. They wasn't here. They came over here. They was invaders and shit. Then you got Paleo Americans. Uh, the word Paleo Americans. Hold on one second. You got the word Paleo Americans in there, and with an S, so that means there's a bunch of them and different routes. So different routes indicate that there's more than one route. So I want to know, what are these routes, because from what I checked, Behringer was what you was banking on. So basically it said, what I'm saying, these different looking immigrants refer to Paleo Americans. So the Paleo Americans looked it different. They looked it different, and um made their way American a different route. So when they found Candlewick Man, Candlewick Man also put a damage in their theory that they had previous to Candlewick Man. So Candlewick Man had to made them adjust their theory a little bit. Also, I think that's what it's saying. But it falls into their theory because the how old Candlewick Man is, it falls in under their theory. So now they have no. So Candlewick Man supports their theory because of the age. Now the age of Candlewick Man goes into their story. Their story says it happens about what was it? Uh, I think their story said it happened. I don't know what the story says, but Candlewick Man falls into that. So Candlewick Man is some evidence that supports them. You see what I'm saying? But even though it looked different, but it also had to make them have to change some of their options and some of their possibilities because Candlewick Man looked different. Now Candlewick Man is one person, and Candlewick Man does not represent a whole race of people. And this is the part that critical thinking needs to understand. Because you found a skull, that one skull doesn't mean there was a whole race of people that look like that. That could have been a person that was sick. That could have been a person that was retarded. That could have been a person that was deformed. I mean, that could have been a lot of things wrong or a lot of things right with them. He does not represent a different people unless there's more information and we don't know the information. Now, um, but anyway, let me see. Now, here we go. It says, early this year, researchers traced the connection between Native Americans and ancestors, Beringen by analysis, analyzing the DNA from a set of 12,600-year-old human remains that was found in Montana, known as Eswick and Enswick 1. But they can't make a solid connection between those populations and the Paleo Americans. That's where Nair entered the picture. So let's bring out the math. Let's bring out the math. Okay. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check out the math researchers. They, of course, they talking about more than one. We don't know who they is, but they just saying researchers. And then they says trace a connection. You know what I'm saying? Trace a connection between modern day Native between Native Americans and so they found the connection. So there is a connection to something found in Montana. There is a connection from a set of, now set is also a mathematical word as well. So set basically means multiple different groups. So multiple different more than ones, if that understand. So basically, if you have like five M&Ms over here, five M&Ms over there, three over there, whatever, those will be different sets. So set is also a mathematical number. So basically, they found different sets. They found different sets of these humans, and and uh and there was the connection. So remember the connection. The connection is not a 100% information. It's basically saying there was some connection there. So just like Snoop Dogg has some connection to Native Americans. If you check out Snoop Dogg DNA, he like 20% or something. He got some Native American in there. Some of us have some Native American DNA in us. So even some of the Pan Africans admit, they say, man, some of you guys probably got Native Americans in your family. You might have some connections or something like that. So they ain't say it is a Native American. They said they trace the connection. Now let's go into the connection. Okay? But anyway, and so this was found in my Anzic 1. You can look that up, Anzic 1. I don't really know too much about that. And they said, but they couldn't make a connection between, between those populations, between the set of the ones in Montana and the so-called Paleo American, which I believe Candlewick Man comes from. They couldn't make a connection between them two. So between the Paleo Americans, which I believe Candlewick Man is one, and between these people here, this guy is saying that they couldn't make a connection. So let's go and let's check this out. So here go the diver. They're diving. They're diving. Okay. And so let's check this out. It says the modern day chapter of Naya's story begins in 2007 when a trio of divers discovered Hokia Negro. The moment we entered the site, we knew it was an incredible place. One diver said Alberto Nervano told reporters. So let's take that little segment out. Um, let's take that little segment out, and let's do the actual math. Okay, let me read it one more time just to digest it a little bit because I kind of just blanked out a little bit. It says the modern day chapter of Naya's story began in 2007 with a trio of divers discovering Hokia Negro. Hold on one second. Hokia Negro. The moment we entered the site, we knew that it was an incredible place. One of the divers, Alberto Navo, told reporters. Okay. So Alberto Nava. Okay, so you can check out Alberto Nava. Napa or whatever. So we could check out the math in that. Um, Basically 2007. We all know 2007. Whatever. A trio usually mean three. Three divers. So we got that. The moment we into the side, blah 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 blah. One diver spoke to a reporter. So we got the math on that. Now now let's get we're going a little more deeper. Um, we're going a little more deeper in the article. So I'm gonna break it down, and I want to show you how to critical show people how to think critically. Okay, okay. So here we go. Where we at? It says let me see. It says as the diver explored the vast chamber, they found that it was littered. Oh shit, that's gonna fuck me up. I know I'm a mathematic guy, so that word litter is gonna mess me up. I'm gonna start over because I heard that word and I know what that word means. It's not a good. It's a scrambled mathematical word and it's gonna mess me up. But here we go. Um, as the diver explored the vast chamber, they found that it was littered with the bones of now extinct animals, including ground sloths and elephant-like creatures known as the Glaphium. Let me see, the gunpowders, the gunpowders. I believe that's what you call it, the gunpowders. They also found a human skull lying upside down on a ledge, surrounded by bones. The skull was named Naya, echoing the echoing the Greek term nymphs, whatever they call it. Um, uh, yeah. So okay. So I don't know what NIF is, but here we go. So now let's check out the math. Okay. Now this gonna blow your mind a little bit because this is a lot of math in here. And I know most people don't really see that, but to me this is a scrambled up piece of mathematical because I gotta break this down mathematically in my head. And as I do that, it gives me farther away and I need more answers. So it says, I'm gonna break this down. So the word littered, okay? The word littered is a mathematical word. They're using it in a mathematical format, which basically means a estimation. So basically, it was a bunch of stuff. Littered with bones. Littered can be anything. Like how many? Tell us how many. Like you guys are supposed to be scientists. Tell us we found 1,000 bones. Tell us we found 167 and three bones. Like give us the shit. So littered is a scrambled up mathematical word. That's how they're using it. So now they're telling me there was just bones everywhere. We don't know how many they was. It was just a bunch of bones everywhere. And me as a mathematical guy, I want to know how many was it? Because that how many bones? They was littered. So those of you who are non-critical thinking, that word littered might not mean that much to you. You might think of a napkin being thrown on the ground or some shit. You might you might you might believe in a napkin thrown on the ground, but littered with bones mean that there was bones everywhere. So now, as a mathematical person, it's hard for me to calculate how many bones they were because they were littered with them. Now, how many bones were human? Now, they did mention some animals, but they did mention some animals, and they said they found a skull. So that means they found one skull. The word "one" means a. They found one skull. So you mean to tell me they was littered? It was litter with bones. It was littered with there's bones everywhere, and there was one skull there. Okay. Now, my critical thinking is trying to put this in a context where my brain can process it. So now they're telling me that there was bones everywhere of different animals. And they didn't say all the bones was animal bones, even though they did mention there was some animal bones. So So as a reader, the information that I am the minuscule information that they're giving me is they're only telling me there was litter with bones, there was animal bones, and there they found a skull. So you found skull in a pile of animal bones. So my critical thinking is sending red flags because I can't process like how, like what the hell, like what does that mean? Like was it like a, like you got these prehistoric animal bones and then you got a skull, um like I don't know. I don't know. I can't really explain how it brings my mind and it expands my mind, and I have more questions because I am a critical thinker. So it just brings me into more and more questions that I have that I know would never get answered. So what I'm going to have to do is most people don't want to use critical thinking, so they just gonna go with the flow. And I'm not a flow type of dude. So my critical thinking is just trying to figure out how the hell, how is that working. But they said that's how they found it, and I'm just going to leave it like that. But as I critique the article, I want to know what the hell was one skull doing in a, a litter of bones from animals. Like, were they eating her and they died? Like, how did that work? I mean, anyway. So, okay, so it says Naya Skull had the look of a Paleo American. So every time they say Paleo, I'm guessing every time they say Paleo American, they mean something that looks like us. I'm guessing. And that's using critical thinking. I didn't know that. I'm just now reading this and just now figuring it out because up above they said that they said that the one man was a Paleo American and he looked distinct from modern Native Americans. And so now if Naya looks like a Paleo American, then that means Niagara looks like somebody from Africa. So anytime you hear the word Paleo American, um, basically looks like somebody from Africa. You know what I'm saying? That's basically how I'm getting there because I am a critical thinker. So to me, Paleo Americans supposed to be me. Before this, Paleo Americans was an old as American. But now, reading this article, it's telling me Naya Skull looks like a Paleo American. And up here, if you go up here and actually comprehend the little minuscule ass article you're reading, it tell us right here. Example 93 skull bank scientists looking different. It says you know what I'm saying? One of the best examples is Conowig Man, the 93-year-old skeleton found in 1996 on the bank of Colorado River in Washington State. Such finds led scientists to wonder whether these different looking immigrants referred to as Paleo Americans. Okay, so this is what this part of the article told me, that Candlewick Man was a Paleo American or not. Made their way to the Americas via different route. Hold on. I might have to rethink that because they might be talking about something else. Yeah. So yeah, but that's what I'm getting. But also, it can be saying that Candlewick Man is not a Paleo American. So yeah, the word. So now I'm getting. You know what I'm saying? So now my critical thinking is going against itself because I want to believe what it's saying, but the other part of me saying, bro, you don't got enough evidence to say that. So now I have to correct myself and I have to go back and I have to say, hold up. Are they say is Candlewick Man a Paleo American? Yes or no? So I gotta read it again to make sure, and I gotta slow it down to make sure it's saying what I think it's saying. One of the examples, 1996, such articles to believe these different looking immigrants referred to as Paleo Americans. So the simple fact they said they're different looking, okay, Now I was right. I was right, but I was talking too fast and I was thinking too fast, and I needed more evidence because I critiqued my own brain. Wow, I can critique myself. Wow, that's amazing, ain't it? So, but turn to find out myself was right because my other self, I had to slow myself down and say, bro, you ain't got enough evidence. So now I do have the evidence because it says differing looking immigrants referred to as Paleo Americans. So if they're different looking, who are they different looking from? Now we're gonna go down here. Let's go. We're gonna go back down here because you gotta, like I said, you gotta have critical thinking. Oh, where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Um. Okay, this was the animal thing. Let me see. Okay, right. So is that where we was at? Naya's skull had the look of a Paleo American. So, because of the other part of the article, and because I'm a critical thinking, Paleo Americans is the different looking skulls that look like Naya's. Now, up here, if you go through the article, it said Naya's skull looks like an African or someone in the Pacific. Now, Pacific is very is very broad. Like Pacific, any can be any network. Let me see. Now when I cross-ref the article with the article, okay, because remember I'm critical thinking. It said, but scientists have also puzzled. Um, let me see. Over curious remains found that look as if they came from Africa or South Pacific. So these different looking skulls, that's they call Paleo Americans, according to this article and my understanding. Is does that mean I'm correct? No. Does that mean I know everything? No. This is the way my brain operating because I'm critically thinking. Now maybe there's a lot of things, a lot of information that I don't know, and the information that I don't know will also be able to change my thinking. You see? But because of this minuscule article, I only have one article to go off of. So if you are a deep researcher and you're watching me putting this together, you might be like, man, he don't know this and he don't know that, but I do know the Bering Strait been debunked. You know what I'm saying? And this and that, and this and that. I might not know this, but as the article reads, as a person reading the article, I have to cross-reference the article with the article. Do everybody get that? Have everybody done that? So you can cross-reference a article with itself. Did anybody know that? Wow, so you sometimes you don't need another article to cross-reference the article. You can just cross-reference the article with the different pages and different sections of the article. And that's what I just did. It's called critical thinking. Get some or get lost. Oh, matter of fact, or you are lost. How about that? So so basically, if they're calling her look like a Paleo American, they're basically saying Paleo Americans look like Africans. That's their word for Paleo Americans. So now, from now on, every time you guys hear the Paleo American, those are the African looking skulls. Okay, according to this article. Now, if you know something different, you know something different according to this article. Now, uh, it says Naya Skull had the look of the Paleo Americans, a broad forehead, narrow face, wide set eyes, and outward jutter jaw, about the opposite of the Native American look of the opposite what Native Americans look like. Um, Said applied paleoscientist archaeologist James Chatter, the principal author of the science paper. Okay? Now we get that, right? Now, here we go. First thing we want to do is we want to take out the math. Take out the math. So now we Paleo Americans. So that means they're more than one. Broad forehead, eyes. Of course, we already know two eyes. We know what that about. Now the word opposite. Opposite, it's I take it as a mathematical word, but if you don't, you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those words that kind of that kind of fit the description as a mathematical word, but kind of don't. So each his own. But I don't want to sound nitpicky, so I'm going to leave it alone. I don't want to seem like I'm nitpicking, but that word, but it basically said it looks opposite of what Native Americans think. Look, so opposite. Remember in the beginning, I told you a word opposite. Those of you who just got in, once you rewind this, check this out, and I had did a little spiel on opposite before I got to this word opposite. So, that's that. So now let me see. Like the apply James Chatter. So it's not too much math in there, and the math is not that important. And now we're going to do some actually what exactly are they talking about, and how does it go against with the other article, the other part of the articles. Okay, so as I noticed, it said the look of a Paleo American, and so it's describing what a Paleo American looks like. Okay, a Paleo American looks like this. It has a broad forehead, narrow nose, wide set eyes, and outward judder jaw. So that's what a Paleo American looks like, and this article taught me that. So thank you, NBC or whatever you is. You taught me what a Paleo American looks like. I didn't know they look like Africans. Um, Now I know. Now, so let's okay. Um, let me see where we at. So remember, we're using critical thinking. Now here we go. Several methods were used to determine how old the remains were. Um, hold on one second. So we got check out the chat real quick. Okay, who we got up in there? Who we got up in there? Let me see. I can't see. Oh, we got Jag. What up, Jag, man? Jag in the building. Turtle Ali Niji comment. The Ohio player. We got, what I'm saying? We got the original Copper Empress, Liba Sun. What's up, everybody? We finna go in and we finna show our people how to use critical thinking so they can get on our level. You know what I'm saying? They can get on our level, and once they get on our level, then we don't need to persuade them or convert them, or they just gonna come. Shit, they're gonna come with a thinking that shit. It's natural. You know what I'm saying? The original one. How you doing? How you doing? What up? What up? So here we go. So here we go. It says okay, it says one of several methods were used to determine how old the remains were, including radiocarbon dating of the tooth enamel and uranium thorium. Okay, sorry, uranium thorium dates the crystals that accumulated on the bones. These methods indicate that Naya was somewhere between 12,000 or 13,000 years ago. So we're going for the math. We're going straight for the math first. Okay. Um, okay. So now bones. So now crystals. Okay, we get that bones. Methods. So that these methods so indicating they're more than one. So and they gave us two. You know what I'm saying? And then it says 12,000 or 13,000 years ago. So by using this method, they're letting us know that they don't have a 100% answer, but they're giving us an estimation. So this is called a estimation. So this is what you need to do in science. Scientists does it all the time. So if you want to come up with your own estimations or your own estimates, it is perfectly fine. It doesn't make you pseudo. It doesn't make you weird. It makes you a person that use critical thinking. Okay, using your own estimations. So they're using these methods. Okay, and they're coming up with some odds, what it could be. And so most of us usually accept these dates because we don't have anything else. know what I'm saying? We don't have anything else. So those are the numbers. Now let's compare the article with other parts of the article. We do that. So I'm able to do that instantly as I accumulate the reading. You know what I'm saying? I can't really tell you how to do that as fast or as slow as I do it, but I am comparing the article with the article. That's the thing, you guys. Okay, it's called critical thinking. Something that is not popular, but I guess we're gonna have to go along with it. So yeah, so they giving us the estimate, and they got some. So that's the bone right there, upside down bone. Oh man, now I see. Look at all those bones. That's how that was found. Are you kidding me? Is they saying that's how that was found? Okay, see now my brain is going weirdo. I never even actually took the time to uh to check that out. So now I'm gonna put this picture on the screen because I don't know if they saying that's how the bones was found. But if that's how the bones was found, I'm sorry, I cannot. That is that. That's gonna be a problem for me if they telling me the bones was found like that. Let me see. Wow. Wow. Okay, so yeah, check out the article. And it's basically like it basically looks like, you know what I'm saying, a baseball bat. Like, okay, I don't think they're saying that's how they found. They couldn't be. So I'm not even gonna exercise that. But if anybody see this article and they say this how these bones was found, somebody need to go their ass to jail. Okay? Because this is ridiculous. But it's okay. They didn't say that. I I indicated that. So nobody's going to jail. Here we go. Let me. Okay, Paleo American. Okay, so here we go. So now we're figuring out what a paleo. Now everybody know what a Paleo American look like. A Paleo American looks like you. Okay, it has a skull like you. So anytime you hear somebody say, "Oh man, the Paleo American crossed the Bering Strait," blah 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 blah, whatever, they're talking about some people that look like you, according to this article and my understanding. Maybe my understanding is not correct, but hey, more information, more better understanding. Okay, now, um, now here we go. Here we go. We're gonna we're gonna start getting to the juicy part. And this is where critical thinking come in at. And um and so when you're doing critical thinking, it shouldn't be that difficult for you. But if it is, it might you something might be wrong with you. It says the genetic verdict was the clincher. Okay, the genetic version the genetic verdict was the clincher. Okay. Oh yeah. We finna go in on that. Mitochondrial DNA abstracted from one of Naya's teeth confirmed a common genetic lineage with the ancient Beringians and modern day Native Americans. Okay. 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 Let's let's take out the numbers. Let's check out the numbers. Now, first thing that stands out is one. If you go one of Nayar's teeth. Now, the word A is a number referring to one. Okay? So when it says confirmed A, now it means one. Out of how many? So now I wonder how many do she have? Because obviously she have one in common with modern day Native Americans, just like Snoop Dogg do. Just like who else do? Hmm? Who else do? I might have some. Anybody can have something in common. Any one of us can have a common genetic lineage to modern day Native Americans. But here we go. This story don't get too deep, but I'm just gonna do according to the article because articles are not, you know what I'm saying, blah 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 blah. But I know there's some articles that break this stuff down a little better, and I read those. But we're gonna go the top of Google. So the top of Google is very important. If your story is at the top of Google, probably paid or you did some work to get there. Okay, now confirmed A, which is one common genetic lineage with the ancient Barons and the modern day Native American. So now Naya have one genetic thing in common. Now, hint the word one. Now, my brain is telling me, okay, since Snoop Dogg has some Native American DNA in him, and he has a percentage. So now I'm wondering, what is the percentage of that one that Naya have? Don't none of the articles tell you that. So now, as a critical thinker, I need that question answered before I can actually commit to your story. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Now, a common genetic lineage. Okay? I do not deny that. I am not throwing it in the garbage. I am not saying that it's a scam. The computer don't work. The software don't work. They made it up. It's a conspiracy. I am not saying that. I am not 100% accepting it either, but it does hold weight. So I have to respect it. So I do respect that. So a common lineage is okay. But what's the percentage of that lineage? They don't tell you. So now I cannot convert. Okay, you haven't converted me because I'm a critical thinker. You haven't won Ty Data yet. You might have won. You might have won the article readers. You might have won them. You might, you know what I'm saying. You might have won the, I don't want to get too weirdo, but the source seekers or whatever here. You might have won them. But I need to know what percentage because if Snoop Dogg, if let's say George Lopez have four different, George Lopez came back. He came back Asian, European, African, and Native American. He came back four different things. So, are you telling me that this person was walking around 12,000 years ago recessive with nothing mixed? There was no mix. There was no mixture because according to the story that they was doing some mixing over there in Asia and they was doing some mixing over there. So where the other ones at? What's the other ones? Where are the other story? So sometimes it's not what the article say, it's what the article don't say. And this article do not say enough information for type data. Not because I'm some super weirdo. It's just my brain is big. And in order to feed a big brain, you need big information. Okay? Could you imagine Shaquille O'Neal eating some cotton candy for dinner? Could you imagine what that'd be like? It doesn't fill him up. That shit, he'll eat your ass up. You know what I'm saying? Ball your ass up. Andre the Giant fucking eating a piece of cotton candy, or how about a licorice? I'm so fucking stupid. I'm so goddamn stupid. We go we go put Shaquille O'Neal on a licorice diet and shit. We go every day at night and shit. He got to eat one licorice for dinner. This is what that like. This is what this article like to my brain. It doesn't feed me enough. And because it doesn't feed me enough, I cannot support their story. But if anybody can answer any of my questions, you would have no problem converting me. So first off, I want to know, what are you not saying? Are Naya genes recessive? I would like to know that. I'm not going to get into the computer part because I would like to know a lot of the computer stuff. So I'm going to leave the computer stuff alone because there's a lot of computer stuff I need to know about the genetics as well, the gene, but mitochondria. Now, so I need to know was Naya recessive? Can you tell me that? Can you tell me what other genetic links? Obviously, Naya was a mixed race person because they was doing some mixing and matching with some humans and some monkeys and some monkey men with some monkey people and some other people, and it was a whole lot of mixing and matching. So according to their own story. So if there was a lot of mixing and matching, I'm going to need you to release Naya's other traits as well. Now, upon you releasing Naya's other traits as well, you have converted type data. Until then, the information that you are giving me is not enough for me to come to a critical conclusion. Now, so we got a commercial in the middle, blah 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 blah. But if anybody wanna, if anybody feel that they have enough information in this one article to believe something, that's you know, yeah, something ain't right. Something ain't right. So, I guess we're gonna go. Okay, so it says, what is the study? What this study is presenting for the first time. Oh shit! Hold on one second. Who the fuck is that? Okay, we good. My bad. My bad. Okay, it says, what this study is presenting for the first time is evidence that Paleo Americans, remember what they look like, Paleo Americans, which those distinct features can be directly tied to my bad. You know what? Because I'm a critical thinker, I have to go back because I forgot something. Critical thinker alert, critical thinker alert. Hold on one second. I'm having a critical thinking moment. Okay, right here, right here. You see right here when it says genetic verdict was a clincher. Okay? Now what does that mean? It was a clincher. It sealed the deal. We got what we were looking for. It's a clincher. That means it was combined. They were looking to combine her with Native Americans, and the genetic testing was a clincher. A clincher, you guys. They got what they was looking for. We got it. But guess what? They only used the mitochondrial. This is the trick that people not telling you. I did a little research. Actually, I didn't. But I found out, what I'm saying, that uh, certain types of DNA give you certain types of results. And so the simple fact that they said mitochondrial DNA, now I'm very skeptical why they didn't why they go by the mitochondrial and they didn't do something else. And we're gonna get into that too. We're gonna get into that too. So now you're but I'm sorry, I couldn't go past this. The genetic verdict was a clincher. That means it sealed the deal. They now have Naya linked up to mitochondrial DNA with a common genetic link. So everybody know this is what they were trying to do in the first place, and they was able to do it. Okay, everybody know that these people has to be Native American. If they're not Native American, they would mess it up. But they look like Africans. Okay, now but that right there lets me know. That right there put me on edge because you Americans cannot help to be arrogant. We some arrogant bastards, and it shows in every trait in our personality. And this right here is some typical American arrogant shit to me. Okay, the genetic verdict was a clincher. Oh, we won. We won this one, and you know why we won it? Because the mitochondrial DNA. But guess what? There's other scientists out there. So now they have to put up with other scientists. And so here we go. Now it says what this study is presenting for the first time um, uh, is the evidence that Paleo Americans with those distinct features can be directly tied to the same source population um, of contentional Native Americans, says Deborah Blorwick, an anthropologist and at the state of Texas at Austin, who helped with the genetic Analysis. Okay, okay. Now my brain is going on a tangent, you guys. I don't know about y'all, but my brain is going on a tangent because I'm a critical thinker. I am going on a tangent. I am going to slow down now because then my brain is going faster. So she said that now this is what I want you to read. She said, now this is what critical thinking means. It says we this study presents for the first time is the evidence that Paleo Americans. Now, when they say Paleo Americans, they talking about all of them. They talking about all of them. Now, how is it possible? Can they talk about all of them if you ain't tested all of them? How can you now find one to represent all? How can you mathematically do that? Y'all understand? Everybody understand what I'm saying? This article is just saying they now this one lineage represent all Paleo Americans. Now that right there gives me it creeps me out because that's science. That's not scientific. That's not scientific evidence. That's not scientific proof. Now, if you want to say Naya herself has it, but now you put in a category on all of them, and now you're saying Naya links all of them together. So now just because they look alike, they all the same. Ain't that what you say that we do? So that right there, I smell bullshit. There's no way that one skull can represent years of Paleo Americans. It can't do it. I'm sorry. Case closed. Now, if you have lots of them and they all say that, you could. But as you can see, the clincher, that's all they was looking for. They was looking for a clincher. The arrogant ass reporter couldn't help himself. Yeah, it was a clincher. It was a deal breaker. He couldn't help himself. It was a clincher. You see what I'm saying? Now I ain't gonna say they're lying. I'm just gonna say I am critically thinking and critically evaluating. So now I am thinking, how can Naya represent um all Paleo Americans, all of them. I don't know. So I need more information because my critical thinking is going through the roof. Now I understand there's a mitochondrial DNA, and yeah, it has A, which means one connection or whatever to the modern day Native Americans. But like I said, they're not what they don't say is just an importance. So they're not testing the other different they're not testing the uh, other different types of DNA, and I don't know with other, yeah, they're not testing the other types of DNA. So DNA come in types, you guys. I actually just found this out because I'm a computer guy, so I don't know about DNA, but I know about the computing part, and that's what kills philosophers every time because they don't really know about computers and shit. Most of these doctors and lawyers don't really know how their computer is built. They don't really know the software that's in them. They don't really know anything about the computers. So it just so happened if you're a guy who works in a DNA lab or works somewhere around DNA, one day you should go in the office and ask somebody, how does that work? It's called critical thinking. But anyway, so yeah, so that's some bullshit. So now, yeah, Naya cannot represent a whole group of people cannot represent a whole group of people. Okay, unless those whole group of people, you did their DNA. So that's some bullshit right there. So let's get the numbers out. Let's get the numbers. So presenting evidence, Paleo Americans. So when they put an S on it, that means all of them. So you don't have evidence. You don't have evidence of all the Paleo Americans. You have evidence of one. Because basically what they were saying, what they were saying is, yeah, man, we was trying to figure out what was these different looking ass Paleo Americans doing here. We couldn't figure it out. And so they test Naya, and they was like, and then they went in there and they went in there and they did the mitochondria. Now, keep in mind, there are other different types of DNA material, but they selected the mitochondria. And they looked through the mitochondria and they found something that linked them to Native American, and that was the clincher, you guys. And that was the clincher. So now that they got the clincher, now they got a story now. They got a story. They won. They winning to the idiots, but not to the critical thinkers. But here we go. So Paleo American. So that means there's more than one directly tied uh, source. Source is always that's mathematic to me. It can give or take, but that's mathematically that basically means where the code come from to me. Where the code come from. You know what I'm saying? And so a source population as conventional Native Americans that prepare. So basically, they were saying that that these people have some connection or whatever to Native Americans. Okay, but now we're going to get more deeper in it. We're going to get more deep. Now I'm not saying I disagree with the article, but what I'm saying is the article does not feed my hungry brain. I need more. You see what I'm saying? I just need more. That's That's pretty much it. So now it says such finds suggest that the physical difference between Paleo Americans and Native Americans are due to population change that took place in Beringia and the Americans, and are now the result of separate migrations. Um, so um, so basically, basically we have a story now. You see what I'm saying? So this is where evidence cut off, and this is where the story cuts on. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So, but let's go ahead and get in. The scenario meshes. That sound weird. Um. With this prevail. Let me see. With the prevailing view about the first American. Okay, with this prevailing view about the first Americans. Okay, so basically now what they saying this scenario mesh prevail I'm sorry, this prevailing mesh with this scenario mesh with the prevailing, sorry, I'm my bad, uh prevailing view, I'm sorry, that's not in my vocabulary too much, but prevailing view about the first Americans. Okay, let me go ahead and finish so we can break this down. So much so that some anthropologists would wonder whether the science study breaks all that all that much new ground. Now, so basically they was saying that their goal was to get the Paleo Americans linked up with the Native Americans. That was the agenda. That was the mission. The mission was to get these African looking ass people to look like these people. That was the mission. And so they tricked us. They tricked you because they used something called mitochondrial DNA. Mitochondrial DNA. There's other different types of DNA that I actually just found that out today. And the other types of DNA, and we're gonna check that out. We're gonna check that out. Anyway, so basically, it direct ties to a source population as uh, contemporary Native Americans as Deborah Broadwick, the anthropologist. Okay, so let's check out the math first. Stay on course. Let's check out the math. So Paleo Americans meaning more than one. I'm sorry. I'm going over the place. I'm sorry. We did that. Okay. Um, Paleo Americans meaning more than once. Um, population changes, so that means there is more than one. So I'm going to need to know how many changes was there. Okay, I'm going to need to know how these changes took place, why these changes. I'm going to need more about these changes, because change is a mathematical word. When you're talking about changes, you're talking about more than one. So I need to know more about that. This article does not reveal that. So I cannot fucking believe this article if it don't have enough information, you guys. Like, our people are gone. This is not funny. I know a lot of people, man. I know a lot of people want to win and they've been working their heart off. But man, this ain't funny, man. Our people are gone, bro. You see what I'm saying? And they're not critical thinking. They're not even thinking about this shit. They just want to see the shit read, and it's like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? This is death to our people. Y'all everybody understand that? This is death to us. If these people don't figure out how to fucking properly critical think, this is death to all of us. Enough. Now, here we go. Um popular changes. So I need to know more about these changes. And right, it says took place in Beringer and the Americas, Beringer and the Americans, and now the result of separate migrations. So now, I need evidence of that. You see what I'm saying? I understand the story and I understand what happened, but I literally need evidence of that. I literally want to see the evidence of a human being changing within 12,000 years. I want to know if it was if it's is it was recessive or not. I need to know more, and um but it's 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 getting crazy. And so, um and I don't really understand too much of what this scenario meshes, but it basically, to me, it basically means that a whole bunch of stuff, like it's all tangled up, and it's just scenario meshes. It's just all over the place, and prevailed views about the first American, and so it says something about the first American. Now, now, so now let's scroll down and let's do some critical thinking. Now, let's do some more critical thinking. Now we got that information. It's time to do a little more. It's time to do a little more critical thinking. Okay. It says, it does. I'm saying it doesn't say anything new that doesn't dispute any of the any of our findings, but likely um overreaching its in its conclusion, because the DNA information falls short of being complete. Montana State University, uh, Shane Doyle. Okay, I don't. Let me see. Shane Doyle, one of the authors of the Andwick Andrix 1 study, told NBC News. Doyle points out that the mitochondrial DNA doesn't provide nearly as much information as the nuclear DNA that he and the others that the other Answick 1 researchers study. Okay. So now we have to cross reference the article now. Now we're getting somewhere. So, yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. So this guy is doing some critical thinking, and so because he's doing DNA, he know more information, and so his critical thinking is more potent on the subject. And so now his critical thinking, I'm going to take some of his critical thinking and I'm going to add mine to it. As a reader, you have to have critical thinking. Now, first off, I want to get your name right. Shane Doyle. Okay? Shane Doyle. Okay? Now, he says, okay, it doesn't say anything new and doesn't dispute any of our findings, but likely overreach in its conclusion because the DNA information falls short of being complete. Montana State University Shane Doyle, one of the authors of the Andrick 1 study, told NBC News. Doyle points out that mitochondrial DNA doesn't provide nearly as much information as the nuclear DNA. Okay? So now, I mean, that he and the other Andrick man researchers study. So now, So now there's another person named Shadow Dawn. He decides to do some critical thinking, and he basically saying why are they studying the mitochondrial? Why they not studying the nuclear like he did on Andrick Man? He did the nuclear on Andrick Man, and they got you, and we got them. The cyborg's out here, dude. The cyborg's out here. Critical thinking is the worst enemy, and is everybody worst enemy. And this is why nobody do it anymore. This is why they don't teach it. So now you have two. So now he's basically saying, why they ain't do the nucleus, man? Who does mitochondrial? Who do that? We do the nucleus, man. It gets more information, but they done slipped up and they done tricked all y'all people to believing this person is a metamorphosis in Native American because of the mitochondrial DNA that has a common gene, that has a common genetic lineage. So that right there, they that right there is a clincher. It's the clincher right there. The mitochondrial DNA has less information, but it have the information that connects them. Now, what are the odds of a modern day person sharing? But anyway, here we go. Now, basically, it said it doesn't have enough, nearly as much. So basically, when he say nearly, he's basically saying it doesn't hold up to the nuclear DNA. So now I need to see Naya's nuclear DNA report. Now, if I can find Naya's now I'm not saying it's fake yet. Um, but when I can find Naya's nuclear DNA report, I'll be one step closer to being convinced. Until then, I'm going to stick to my critical thinking, and I'm going to stick to what I believe. Until then, maybe I am a harsher critic, and I'm a little biased. Sorry for being biased, but everybody else in the world is biased, and that's probably your problem if you're not biased. Because I'm telling you now, the Chinese are biased as hell when it comes to Chinese. The African people over there in Africa, they're biased as hell when it comes to Africans. Some of them. The Mexican people, some of them are biased when it comes to Mexican people. Um, and when it comes to my people, I'm sorry, I'm guilty. I am a little biased. I am a little biased, just like everybody else. But I'm not a racist or anything. But yeah, I am a little biased. I lean towards just like everybody else leans towards theirs. But that doesn't mean that my research is tampered because I'm a little biased. But that just mean when I tell my story and when I come to my conclusions, that just mean my stories and my conclusions are going to benefit, are going to be a little biased. I admit that. Many of my stories, many of my methods, many of my things, they might be a little biased towards in favor of, my people because I notice everybody else do it too. So I want to do it too. Okay. Maybe they make me weird. Maybe they make me unfair. You can come up with whatever name you come, but there's not one group of people that don't do it. They all do it. And if you're reading their stuff, you are getting their information and you're reading their stories. You're getting their biased information. So if you read my story, you're gonna get Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you're gonna get some unbiased information. But I'm not like a straight up hardcore biased racist or nothing. But it's there. It is there. You know what I'm saying? It's not who my personality work. I'm gonna get real. It's not how my personality work. But yeah, I'm a little biased sometimes. But as you can see, it does not provide nearly as much information as the nuclear DNA that he said. So basically, that critical thinking person, Sean Doyle, was like, that ain't change nothing. He was basically telling you that didn't change anything. The same theory and the same information still stands. Now it didn't change nothing because they didn't do the nuclear. Now, if they would have did the nuclear and they would have found the fucking full-blooded Native American or some shit, that would have changed everything. So he's telling you it doesn't say anything new and doesn't dispute any of our findings. So it's not groundbreaking to the scientists. It's groundbreaking to us because we into the story. You see what I'm saying? Or researchers. But likely overreach in its conclusion because it's overreached. Okay, you overreach. Let's look up overreach. Overreach means you're stretching, bro. You're stretching it. We got him. Got him. So let's look up overreached. And let's see what that means. Overreach. Okay? To reach above or beyond. Ah! Man. Oh, this is crazy. Oh, okay. To reach. Now these are articles. If you want to claim them as sources or whatever you want to call them, they're articles. Okay, they're articles against articles, and the article can actually be into an article. So they're reaching up and above. So they're stretching it, and he's telling you why they're stretching it because the mitochondrial DNA falls short of being complete. This guy. Don't blame me. Let's see if we can click on this name. Get you some AdSense. So we got him a little AdSense. We got him a little Google Point. You know what I'm saying? I put him in my browser. I'm connected to him on the internet. So the human in the internet knows that I seen him. Blah, 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 blah. We get him some points. I'm going to put his stuff in there. Let's get this guy because he's been honest, you know what I'm saying, of critical thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and let him in my chat room. And this attaches him to us. By me taking this and putting it in the chat room, it is now linking my chat room to his page. So Google know I know him now. So Google know I referenced this. Google know what I just did now. Okay? So Shine Dole links, you know what I'm saying, Montana tribes. You know what I'm saying? So he links the tribes together. So check out him. Maybe you can hire him. International researcher. Okay? So check him out. Maybe you can hire him. You know what I'm saying? He seemed like a critical thinker. I'm pretty sure he has his own biases as well. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy that did the stuff on Candlewick Man, and he pretty much told the shit like it is, bro. He pretty much. So now that's what we did. We said the same thing he said. Now I'm saying the same thing he's saying. I am saying there's not enough evidence. So am I a conspiracy theorist now? Then that makes him one too. Now he got the credentials, so don't even listen to what I'm saying. Okay? Don't even listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what he said. He's the professional. So now the professionals is saying what the McDonald's workers or whatever the hell you guys thinking is saying. So critical thinking. I'm gonna read that one more time. And don't forget about the clincher. Don't forget about the clincher because they found that clincher. Remember that? Hold up. Now let me go back. Okay, there go the clincher right there. Remember that mitochondria was that clincher. See that? That mitochondria, that was the clincher. That was the clincher right there. That mitochondrial DNA was the clincher that they needed. But guess what? One day, one honest American, one day, one critical thinking American said, here we go. He said, it doesn't change anything new. It doesn't dispute any of our finds, but likely overreach its conclusion. That means y'all stretching. Y'all got what y'all needed, but y'all stretching, bro. You see what I'm saying? Y'all stretching. And then he said, somebody said DNA actually bloodline comes from the father. Okay. Well, this guy's saying you get more information from that. So I didn't know that. Now, I don't 100% believe him either. See what I'm saying? But I'm going with the article. So I have to research that because I'm critical thinking. I can't take his word for word, but it's you know what I'm saying? I can't take his word for word, but let's just take it, you know what I'm saying? Let's just, I'm already skeptical. And so, but it's a critical thinking argument. That's what it's called. A critical thinking argument. It says it doesn't say anything new. Okay, I'm going to try to say it like an arrogant American. It doesn't say anything new. It doesn't dispute any of our finds, but likely overreach in its conclusion because DNA information falls short of being complete. Well, the reporter say, well, why is that? Why does it fall short? Doe pointed out mitochondrial DNA doesn't provide nearly as much information as nuclear DNA. So now we have to check that out. But anyway, y'all can go ahead and read the story, man. I've been here way too fucking long. I gotta go. My bad. But I've been here too long. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. But yeah, do some critical thinking. Peace. I'm out.
Hi, my name is Lakeisha from the Lakeisha Network. I am here to remind you to go to your Google or Apple App Store. Simply type the word LAKESHA and then search to install and download the Lakeisha Alert app to stay up to date on my new superior features. Subscribe to my YouTube page, opening up your app and clicking menu. Click on the About Us tab. Try to get familiar with my software and also teach it to your loved ones. And get your household familiar with my information. It will be useful in the future. You're welcome in advance. Hi, my name is Lakeisha from the Lakeisha Network. I am here to remind you to go to your Google or Apple App Store. Simply type the word LAKESHA and then search to install and download the Lakeisha Alert app to stay up to date on my new superior features. Subscribe to my YouTube page, opening up your app and clicking menu. Click on the About Us tab. Try to get familiar with my software and also teach it to your loved ones. And get your household familiar with my information. It will be useful in the future. You're welcome in advance. Hi, my name is Lakeisha from the Lakeisha